677 with co-host Alyssa Charleston, and we have a special co-host, Gabby Rosenthal. And then we're joined by special guest Brian Urlacher, the one and only Hall of Famer from the Chicago Bears, and obviously a heck of a player throughout his career, a linebacker, and obviously a great Hall of Famer too. So I just want to say thank you for joining us today. This is truly an honor to be talking to one of the great linebackers in the game to ever play. First of all, how are you and your family doing so far in this new year?
Doing great, man. Kids are back in school, which is nice. Everyone's doing pretty well. Just we're pretty routine out here where we live. We've been here for 5 or 6 years now, and we're kind of based. We just do what we do every day, and that's about it, man. Nothing, not a whole lot going on in my life right now. Pretty boring for me.
Boring is probably nice after.
I was gonna say, that's.
I like boring. Yeah, boring is my favorite.
Well, my first question, I'm just curious because in college you played safety, you played like punt returner, you have all these different positions, linebacker as well, obviously, even like the Lobo back I saw was kind of named around what you're able to do. In a year, in the world now where so many kids are like specializing in one sport even, what's your opinion now that you're kind of removed from the game and how much that helped you playing those different positions, maybe playing different sports, just your opinion on that in general?
You said it, playing different sports, I think helped me a ton. You know, I went from football right into basketball, right into track, my whole high school career, and even 8th and 9th grade, same thing. You know, everyone's so individualized because everyone's going pro now. You know, they're going to go pro in 5th grade now. So I think the parents kind of think their kids are going to be not necessarily pro, but maybe go to college at that sport. And I get it. You know, if your kid's good at something, you want to push them to do it. But I tell my son to play everything. Same with my daughters. I try to get them to play everything they want to play. As long as they're having fun, I think it's good. You know, if they enjoy playing a certain sport, just do that sport, I guess. But I did everything. You know, I think it helped me in football, especially running track. Even though I hated track, I think it helped me in football. Basketball is my favorite, though. I loved basketball. I thought I had a chance to maybe play beyond high school, but football kind of took over there later in high school. I just stuck with that.
So I know you talk about basketball. That leads me to my question. Tell us more about some of the sacrifices that come into the NFL career, right? Players drafting earlier. We're in an era of social media where there's like a new flex culture. Like everything has kind of changed. What are those sacrifices that players need to make? And, you know, knowing the longevity of your career, what does that look like for success?
Thank goodness I didn't grow up or play in the social media area, you know, or era, because it would have been a lot harder. You know, these kids have it tough now because everything they do is put out there immediately. You know, you can't do or say anything without being criticized, whether it's good or bad. It's just the way it is now. Sacrifices, you know, your time. You got to put the work in. I think if you want to get better, I always enjoyed working out. I love being in the living room. I love being around my teammates. I love, even in the NFL, like someone asked me the other day what I did when the season was over. I was like, I worked out. I stayed in the facility. You know, when my first couple years in Chicago, I didn't realize we could leave when the season was over. So I just stayed there. And the week after the season was over, I was back in the weight room, and our strength coach was like, "Why are you here?" I said, "Because it's time to work out. It's the next season here." So I didn't get it. You know, the older I got, the more savvy I got with how to take care of my body and give myself some rest. But I didn't like resting. I wanted to work out. Sacrifices, I think, your privacy as well. You know, if you're going to be good at something, you're going to have to sacrifice some of your private time and also your family time. It's just a lot of people pushing and pulling on you, trying to get you to do different things, and something you got to get used to because it's not easy.
So while you were growing up as a football player in high school, what advice have you gotten from former NFL players when you were in high school? And speaking of, and then after high school, how many offers did you have coming out of high school? What made you choose New Mexico?
Well, I didn't have any offers. I had one. That's why I went to New Mexico. I'm sorry, the University of New Mexico. That's why I went there. I had a 0. I was not highly recruited. You know, I was 6'4", 195 in high school. I was all-state receiver, all-state defensive back. I was pretty good for where I lived. I understand New Mexico is not a huge powerhouse for football, but I had one offer from UNM. Obviously, I took it. I was very happy to get the chance to play there. And it was free school. That's why I looked at it. I got a chance to keep playing football and go to school at the same time, which is what I wanted to do. And I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And advice, you know, did I receive any advice, are you saying, in high school? I mean, yeah. I was so lucky, not from NFL players. I didn't know anybody. You know, I was a big Cowboys fan, but I had never met an NFL player before. Yeah. Oh, you a Cowboys fan as well?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, well, where I grew up, everyone's a Cowboys fan. You know, it goes Bears and then Cowboys for me these days as well. Yeah. But yeah, I think as long as you're working hard and putting the work in, you're going to get better. And for me, when I was younger, when I saw my body changing and me getting better and stronger, that just fueled me to do it more. I wanted to get bigger, faster, and stronger. The more success I had and the better I saw myself getting.
I'm curious, once you were with the Bears, a teammate gave you a nickname, Brian Urlacher, like Urlacher.
That wasn't Alyssa, that was not a teammate. That was a fan or somebody made a shirt like that. It wasn't a teammate. My teammates called me Lack.
Lack, okay.
At college, it was too. Earl, and then in the NFL, it was Lack. So I could tell what I'm talking to about by the nickname they call me.
Oh, wow.
Yep,
really got creative
exactly right.
Dividing the last name into two.
Yep, that's right.
I'm curious, before games or during games, were you the kind of player that's like never too high, never too low, try to keep the calm mindset before game, or were you like amped, ready to go, like, because you laid down serious hits, like your job was violent? What was your mindset during game and pregame, all that?
I was pretty chill all the time. There are some points in the game where you get excited. Like, I always get excited when other people did stuff. Not when I did stuff, because it didn't happen very often, but when other people did stuff, that's when I got excited. I was a big fan of cheering for my teammates, especially the offense when they scored. But before games, I listened to country music. I listened to a little bit of rap, a little bit of rock and roll. I had very eclectic music taste. A lot of my teammates made fun of me for the music I listened to. Some Enya before the game. I just like to relax, man, and chill, because I didn't want to burn too much energy getting ready for the game. Pre-game, I wasn't a screamer. I wasn't a yeller. Like, the hype guys before the game. That was not me. I just kind of stepped back and let the guys who like to do that, they could handle all that they wanted to. But I was a kind of a sit back and wait guy. And then when the game started, that's when we got serious.
So you were very much like a woosah kind of guy. Okay.
No, not that bad. No. I wasn't that bad. No. I was excited to be out there, but I wasn't like just a screamy guy. I wasn't like, that wasn't me either. But I was kind of in the middle, I guess. I was both ways. But I did get excited. Like I said, when my teammates made plays, I get jacked up.
So I guess that leads into my next question. You spent 13 years with the Bears. That's a full career. I know that's something that's very rare with the NFL these days.
Yeah.
How did your role with the team as your career grew with the Bears? How did that change? And do you think that's something that's possible for players today, given the current state of the NFL?
I was very fortunate to play my whole career with the Bears with one team. It's so hard to do these days. You got guys pushing for trades, not just just the NBA. You got guys in the NFL trying to push for trades and trying to get on different teams. And change, honestly, throughout my career. Early on, it was minimized because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing on the football field. The older I got, the more comfortable and the more they asked of me. I just on the field, but leadership-wise and stuff like that. My leadership was really easy. I kind of try to lead by example. I didn't say a whole lot. I just figured if I did it every day and people saw me work, that would be a good thing for me. It didn't change, man. I just did the same thing every day. I got voted captain there. It was cool. That's all. When your teammates vote for stuff and you get it, I think that's a good thing.
So take me back to your draft experience. Obviously, in 2000, you got drafted by the Bears. And did you get invited to the combine, or did you decide to just not combine? I should say the green room. And did you? I mean, you ended up staying with the family. So what was it like being with the family, experiencing the draft, and waiting for your name to get called? And when your name got called, what was that initial reaction to that?
Yeah, I didn't make the cut to go to New York then. I think they only had 5 guys. It's not like that. I think these days, if you get drafted, you go to the draft spot, right? There's like 200 guys at the draft now. Everyone gets to cross the stage. But when I was drafted in 2000, there was like 5 or 6 guys that got to go, and I was not one of those guys. I was projected number 9 to the Bears. That's exactly where I got drafted, which is amazing. Mel Kiper, when the season was over in November, he goes, the Bears draft, blah, 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 at 9. I was like, no chance I'm going to the Bears. Anyway, so it happened. What was your other question? Draft. I had all my family and friends in Albuquerque sitting there waiting. It was a long 2.5 hours. I think the teams have 15 minutes to pick there in the first round, and it was a long wait. And then number 8 came up, and thank goodness Pittsburgh drafted Plexico Burress, because I think the Bears were going to take him if he was available at number 9. So they drafted him, and right after they drafted him, I got the call from the Bears, and I was pumped. To get drafted, period, is awesome, but to go in the first round to an organization with a history of defense like the Bears does is pretty damn cool.
And to now be renowned, well known, and I'm sure you won't talk about it because I've heard you're very humble, but to be one of the best defensive players in Bears franchise history, I think that's incredible as well. I'm curious, in your Hall of Fame speech, you talk about the friendships and the teammates and those who have played at a high level they understand the difference of like, there's just a different vibe when it's like teammates, friendships with like in athletics versus outside of athletics. Can you kind of take us into some of that and just like the crazy bonds and maybe some of the crazy gritty moments that you had with some of those teammates you had to get through?
Yeah, you spend so much time with your teammates. I don't know if people realize, you know, you're at work. We call it's still work for us. So we go to work at the facility, you know, we're there with the guys 10, 12 hours a day, every day of the week, you know, except for Monday and Tuesday. So you're around these guys so much, you have to have a bond with them. You know, we're in the same meetings all day. And you got to get along. I think that's a big deal. And we had great guys in our locker. I was so lucky to be there when I was, because we had a great locker room. We had fun. We played dodgeball on Saturdays, offense versus defense. We would just tear our locker. I feel so bad for Tony Medlin, our equipment guy, because our locker room would be shredded after we played dodgeball.
Oh my God.
And we play baseball in there. We play these stupid gambling games in between breaks. We got a ping pong table towards the end of my career, and we play ping pong. And it's just fun. And I think dynamic is different because of football teammates and friends. You're not always going to get along. There's going to be times where you don't see eye to eye, or you bust a coverage, or someone does this, someone does that, and you have to get on each other. People got on me when I screwed up, and I did the same back to them. It didn't happen a lot because we had a bunch of smart guys on defense, but you have to know that we're doing it because we want to be better. It's not because we don't like you or like that. It's just if you screw up, sometimes people got to let you know, and my teammates let me know, and I think I let them know right back as well. So and you know, when you're friends outside of football, a little different. You're kind of a little bit more lenient on them, I guess, than you would be with your football teammates.
So you talk about the camaraderie off the field, which I think is so important. In terms of on field, who were your favorite people to play with over your time with the Bears, and what were some of the biggest rivalries against teams that you played against throughout your career?
Yeah, my favorite teammates. I played alongside Lance Briggs for 10 years. Charles Tillman, same way, 10 years. I played with Hunter Hellmeyer, was there, I think, for 7 or 8 years. Maybe even long. I don't know the exact times, but I played with a bunch of guys for a long time. You know, there's a few guys that were there pretty much. Well, Patrick Manley, our deep snapper, was there from when I got there until the day I left. He stayed after I left as well. So Olin Kreutz, same way. Just a bunch of guys that I played a whole bunch of years with. It was fun. You know, we had a good time. What was your? I'm sorry, you asked me another question, and then I got off.
Favorite rivalries? Who did you love to play against? Who'd you hate to play against?
Yeah, you know, Green Bay's in our division, so obviously that's the biggest, you know, rivalry, or not rivalry. It's the longest played game in NFL history, so that was our biggest one. And you know what's crazy is, so I grew up a Cowboys fan, obviously, and they played Green Bay every year. And I feel like because they were both always good. So I liked Brett Favre growing up because I thought he was a badass, man. Dude, he was, man. So when I got my rookie year, I got a chance to play against him up at Green Bay. Wow. And I sacked him our first game. We were 0-4, went up there and beat him. We were 1, and they were like 4-0 or 3-1, and we ended up beating them. Wow. So the records have doesn't matter what the records are in those games versus your rivalry teams. It's just it's a big deal. But I didn't like playing against them at the end of my career because they were so damn good. You know, Rodgers had them rolling there on my way out. They were good. They're tough to stop, and you're just not going to fool Aaron Rodgers. Tampa Bay did, but most people don't.
It's true.
Yeah. So before we get to my question, speaking of Lance Briggs, I had him on the show last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was like at the beginning of the pandemic, so it was an honor talking to him, and obviously he's one of the best defensive players too on the Bears. And speaking of those Bears defenses, like you said, they're known for their defense. So what was it like just playing, like you just said, Lance Briggs, Peanut Tillman, and what was it like, the camaraderie in the locker room, being able to play with other legendary players in Chicago?
It was fun because you never really felt pressure that you had to make all the plays, if that makes sense. We had so many guys on defense: Tommy Harris, Julius Peppers, Charles, Tim Jennings, Lance. You said there's so many guys. Mike Brown for a long time as well. Mike Brown's one of my favorite teammates. I can't believe I left him off that list. We were drafted the same year, and Mike had some injuries there in the middle, which cut his career short. But he was unbelievable. If he doesn't get hurt, he's in the Hall of Fame as well. I fully believe that. He was a great player. But it was just fun, man. There was no pressure to make plays that you couldn't make, if that makes sense. You know, we all know what we're capable of doing on and off the field, and there was just never pressure to do anything you were asked to do. And our guys always did their jobs, sometimes a little more than their job when they had to. Like Charles always causing those fumbles. Lance is the most instinctive player I've ever been around. Man, it's like he knew where the ball was going. Sometimes he made me nervous because he'd be lined up in a gap where he shouldn't be because his gap was over here. but he always ended up in the right spot. You know, I just shut my mouth there after a while because I was like, okay, he's going to be where he needs to be when the ball snaps. So just let him do his thing.
I'm curious. I love when people have like rookie stories that are just crazy of like what, you know, teammates make you pay for, make you do.
Yeah.
Do you have any ones that really stand out, whether it's a rookie story or if it's like a game, like something that happens on the sideline that people don't really know about?
Well, I was a first round pick, so they took advantage of me. I'll say that much. You know, so the linebackers, we went out for linebacker night, which is the rookie pays for everything night, basically. So we had the limo, we had the nice dinner. The guys got the bottle of King Louis, of course, at dinner.
Okay.
I think I may have got, this was 2000, so I got back then. They got me for $10,000 in one night, which from what I hear now is not bad because now these kids are getting hit for a lot more. They're all getting their own bottles of King Louis now, so it's a little bit worse now than it was. And then Mike Brown and I paid for the whole team's dinner at this Japanese restaurant our rookie year as well, which was I think only 50 guys showed up, so it could have been worse. So and then you know what my favorite thing to do was get the donuts on Saturdays. You know, it's supposed to be like a bad thing. I love getting those donuts because I knew that if I got them, they were going to be there on time and I was going to get to eat them. So every Saturday, I was happy to get the donuts and make sure they were there on time for Saturday morning meetings.
Big donut guy. I got to know, just a quick follow-up, favorite donut.
Oh,
I was wondering the same thing, so I'm glad you asked. Yeah.
Just one?
You can pick top three. You can pick top three.
I'm a huge donut guy. So I like the chocolate Long Johns. I like glazed.
Oh, okay.
I like the pink ones with sprinkles. My daughters like those, so those are really good. I like Boston cream with the little cream in the middle with the chocolate frosting. I like the cinnamon rolls.
Those the best.
There's only about a few. You should ask me which ones I didn't like because we did have a better time.
Wait, which ones do you not like then?
Like those buttermilk ones, and there's the ones that they look weird. I don't know. I don't like the way they look, so I'm not. They're probably good. I just haven't tried them. Like the chocolate ones, you know, that are all chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like those. I like the ones with just the frosting on top, but they're on a glazed donut.
Fair.
Okay.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask a different question, but I feel like now that we're talking about personal preferences, I have to know, are you a red zone or are you a swagger guy? Like I got to bring it back to Old Spice. It's one of my favorite commercials growing up. I like grew up going to Bears games, even though I'm from Jersey. The Bears are my second team. Love the Giants, love the Bears. So if you had to pick, and do you still use Old Spice? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't use Old Spice anymore. I know I'm getting older, but I don't use Old Spice anymore. I've graduated onto something that smells a little different. Back in the day, I think I used a Swagger. That was the stuff. You know, they send me so much of that stuff when I did the commercials. They just send that crap to me, so I put it in the locker room. I put it in the bathroom at work and everything. So I think it was Swagger though, and it had a distinct smell. You know, they had the body wash. They had everything. So I used the Swagger the most, I believe. Those commercials were funny, but they're embarrassing as well.
Definitely don't be embarrassed by those. They're legendary.
They're funny. I'm glad you think so.
Yeah.
Speaking of Old Spice commercials, what do you think of the commercials now?
Oh, they're funny. Was it Von Miller that has one?
Yeah, Von Miller.
He's funny, man. All the stuff they do now, these guys get to be show so much more of their personality now in these commercials. Mm-hmm. They're hilarious. The Paytons were great at the end of his career, but I just like that they let these guys bring out some of their personality in the commercials they do. I think it's more fun that way because these dudes are funny these days. There's a lot of guys who have a lot of personality and they get to show it a little bit more than on the field. Yeah,
so like obviously you played at one city in Chicago, so I got to ask you this. What was it like playing in the same city as Michael Jordan when he was with the Bulls?
Yeah, so, man, Michael retired, but I got there in 2000. He was done in 98. You know, they won their last one in 98. I met Michael. I've been around him. He was a member at my golf course in Chicago, but that was my guy growing up, man. MJ was the man. I was a big Bulls fan. I think the whole country was just because of Michael, you know, and what they did. And every year, you knew he was going to compete and have a chance to win the championship. But when I got there, he was gone. He did come back and play for the Wizards those 2 years, and they played in Chicago. They played in Chicago the weekend we had a playoff game, so I couldn't go watch the game. But Michael's the man. In my mind, he's the greatest of all time.
I'm with you on that.
Yep.
I'm curious, since you played against so many different quarterbacks and wide receivers, even covering all that coverage, is there a player that was like, whether it is a quarterback or, you know, another skill position, that was really tricky or really hard to read, or someone that was just like this crazy challenge for you that was hard to?
It's so frustrating with the quarterbacks using, you know, they have the fake snap count when they lift their leg up and then you're like, oh, they're going to snap it. And you get up there and you show them what defense you're in, and then change the coverage, or they change the call to make it better for them because they can see what you're in. Aaron Rodgers was good at that. Drew Brees was great at that. Brady, obviously, Manning, they're all good at that, man. They know exactly how to get you to undress your defense and show them what you're going to do, and then they change their call to make it successful for them, and then snap it with 1 second on the play clock. It's very annoying and frustrating when they do that to you. There's a run, so Ricky Williams for me was a hard guy to play against because Ricky was about 5'10", 235 or 240, and ran a 4.4. So I'm 6'4". I couldn't get under Ricky. Ricky, every time I hit him, his chest was right in my chest. So I was like, I usually took the brunt of it. We did have some good collisions. And also stuff was Darren Sproles because I couldn't see him in the backfield.
Yeah.
And when he got the ball, I'm like, where'd this dude go? Oh, there he went. He doesn't need much of a gap to get by you. And then by the time I could see him, because the linemen are so damn big, by the time he got the ball and did his little thing back there, you're like, there he went. And I covered him one-on-one, no chance. He's got so many shakes and he's so quick. I had a really hard time trying to cover him one-on-one as well, with many other guys as well, but he was a tough one.
So I know we talked about some of the accomplishments that you have. I mean, the list is endless. Rookie of the Year, Hall of Famer. What is your biggest accomplishment in your NFL career and why?
So I got the Brian Piccolo Award from the Bears twice. And the reason it's a big deal to me is because my teammates vote on that award. So I got it my rookie year, and our as a rookie, you try and make an impact as best you can, but you don't know how you guys feel about you. Mm-hmm. So my teammates voted me the Brian Piccolo Award winner my rookie year, and I think I won it again 4 or 5 years later. My teammates vote on that again. So that's pretty cool to me to have something. Anything my teammates vote on, I'm happy to accept because, those are guys that you really care about, and they should care about you. So that's the coolest one I got. The other ones are cool, the All Pro and the Pro Bowl, stuff like that. But the stuff that your teammates vote on, that's stuff that meant most to me.
So looking back at your career, actually legendary career, I should say. So how grateful are you to be in this position right now? And after your football career, to be doing other things like golf and having those golf tournaments, and what's it like just to stay active after your football career?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate. I love golf. It's such a hard game, man. It's very frustrating. I'm never going to be as good as I want to be. That's just golf. No one is. It's a hard game. It's competitive. I also got into mountain biking. I love mountain biking. I'm a big fan of food. I'm not sure if I told you that or not. I really like to eat. So I don't like to watch what I eat. So the more I ride my bike, the more I can eat. And I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to gain any weight. I can still, fill my belly when I want to, and not have to worry about looking at calories or anything like that. So I've been mountain biking now for about 4 years. I also got a road bike about a year ago, which is stressful, man, because I'm going on the road. There's cars zooming by you. I found a trail by my house that doesn't have any cars, so that's what I do now. And my kids, man, I got 3 kids. I got a 20-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 15-year-old. So getting to hang out with them all the time. My son started playing high school football this year. My daughter played basketball, plays basketball in high school. So I'm not super busy because they're at school most of the time. But when they're at home, we hang out quite a bit.
How did you first find out that you could potentially be a first ballot Hall of Famer? And did somebody tell you? How did that process go?
You don't really know. So, you have to go, I think it goes from like 85 to 50 to 25 to 15 is the contenders to get in. The nominees is what they're called. And then they invite you to go to Super Bowl a Saturday night before the game. And then you go sit in your room. And if you get a knock on your door, you're in. If you don't, sorry, better luck next year. So you're just sitting in your room, from 3 to 4, whatever, how long it takes the media guys to vote on you, whether a bunch of guys who didn't play football get to vote on whether you were good enough to make it to the Hall of Fame based on what you did, so it's stressful. It was luckily, I'm so fortunate I got on the first time because I can't imagine sitting in there 2 or 3 or 4 times waiting to see if you get in. I was very fortunate. I had a great class, by the way. Randy, Ray, Brian Dawkins, Terrell Owens, unbelievable class. I think that was the first year we ever had 3 guys go on the first ballot. So it was cool. In my opinion, first ballot's awesome. But if you're in the Hall of Fame, no matter what ballot you go in on, that is pretty awesome. I don't think anyone really cares after you're inducted what ballot you went on.
Definitely agree with that. So I know you talk about what you're up to now, and I know a couple years back there were rumors about the fan-controlled football league and staying in shape. What do you think about some of these other contenders against the NFL? Like the XFL is coming back, The Rock bought it, and I'd love to know your thoughts. And I'd love to know, are you going to try out?
No, number one, I'm not trying out. No, I am done with football. My body is not good enough. I can't. There's a reason I retired because I can't play anymore. But anyway, so I think anything that creates more opportunities for guys to play football is a great thing. I'm excited. XFL was cool, those 3 games that lasted.
Yep.
But yeah, I think anything that creates opportunities for guys to play football and maybe get their foot in the door to get back into the NFL. You know, there's only so many spots on every team that you can get. So I think if you get a chance to get on film and be seen, I think it's a great thing. I don't think anyone's ever going to overtake the NFL. I just think it's, you know, it's a machine. You know, the people love it with the fantasy stuff right now going on and everything. People love fantasy football. It's crazy to me. I don't understand it. I tried it one time. I'll never do it again. It's frustrating. You have no control.
It is frustrating.
You have no control. You can't do anything. You pick these guys, and then I don't know how to set my lineup. I'm done. I'm done. I'm retired from fantasy football as well. I'm done.
We got some breaking news from Brian Urlacher. He's retired from fantasy football.
Double retired. Yes.
Should I send that to Adam Schefter so he breaks it too? No.
I send that to Shefty. Let him put that out real quick.
No, but, speaking of fantasy, I actually I did one this year. I do one every year, and I just missed by 1 point of winning the championship game. By 1 point, and I lost.
Somebody missed a pass or something. They didn't get the 2 yards, or they took a knee and took points away or something. I don't understand how the point system works. Yeah, it's annoying.
It's ridiculous. But I gotta ask you this though. Speaking of the Hall of Fame class, actually we're working on getting T.O. on the show too, so hopefully that comes to fruition. But
nice.
What's it like just to be named with T.O., Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, and Brian Dawkins you just mentioned? So obviously all of you guys were there at the same time. And what is it like just to be mentioned with them and like get together with them like after your career?
Well, I know most of them. You know, from playing against them all those years, I know who they are. We've been around each other at Pro Bowls and events, stuff like that. So I know who they are, and we hung out quite a few times. But that weekend is just, it's not just them there. You know, you got all these guys coming back from past years, and it's amazing. You know, you're part of a fraternity, a very elite fraternity. When I went in, I was Hall of Fame member number 318, and now there's been 2 classes going, so there's 330 of us, 335. So it's such a small class, elite group of people that you're a part of. Definitely a huge honor to be a part of that. But hanging out with those guys is fun. There's so many stories and so many. You kind of get to process how they think and why they were so successful, and compare it to yourself, as see if there's anything compared to what you did, and pick their brains. You know, I talked to Ray quite a bit back then. Randy's the man, by the way. I love talking to Randy Moss. He's a stud. But just picking people's brains about how they prepared or this and that. It was a fun weekend. I'll tell you that much. It went by. I was glad when it was over, but it was very fun while it lasted.
And just to follow up, just for your family, just to be all the families to be there in attendance, and just they seeing and your family seeing you guys succeed in a high level. What was this like? What was it like just having the Hall of Fame speech in front of your kids and your wife like that?
Yeah, that was awesome. You know, to have them sitting right there in front, you know, it's hard. I try not to look at them the whole time because I knew if I looked too long or when I was talking about them, I was going to lose it, which I did not want to do. But, you know, it's not – people always say, you know, I got inducted. But, man, your family endures a lot too during your career. It's not just you. They put up with a lot of junk too. My moody butt coming home from practice, whether you're beat up, injured, in a bad mood because you had a bad practice or you played bad. My thing was I always tried to leave football there. You know, whatever I did on the field, good or bad and indifferent, I need to leave that at work and come home and be the dad or the husband, whatever you are at that time. Just try and leave football at work. But it was cool to have my high school coaches there, my college coaches, my NFL coaches, you know, my family, my friends from every level of football, from like I said, high school, college, NFL. It's just really cool to have them all together. And my party the Thursday night was a really good time. That was fun. That was my highlight of the week.
Yeah.
I paid for it too. I was struggling the rest of the weekend.
Oh my God.
I may have had too much fun. I might have went out to the games too fast.
Okay.
I'm sure it was too many donuts, right?
Not enough. I couldn't soak up all that liquor in me. I don't know what the problem was. I had a rough couple of days after that.
Well, you deserve it after getting to the Hall of Fame.
Should have waited till the end. That's what I should have done. But.
As someone who is a fan favorite, I mean, there's a lot of pressure that goes along with that, and a lot of it is because of the character, like the humility that you do have. People can kind of be drawn to that. What goes along with the pressure? Because I read that your jersey sells at a similar rate to like Favre and like big time names.
Back in the day, yeah, allegedly. You know, I just tried to be me when I was there. I came from a small town. I went to a small school. You look at population wise, and then I went right to Chicago, city of 7-8 million. Whatever. So I tried not to change. It was hard because there's so many opportunities to do things and do more. took advantage of some of those things, but I really tried to lay low as best I could and not get this big head, you know. And the good thing I had for me is people telling me I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, my friends, I had a great, you know, a lot of people have yes men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had no men. They're like, you're not that good, bro. You missed why'd you miss that tackle in the red zone? Why'd you do this? So I always had a bunch of critics when I got home to tell me how good I wasn't. So it was not hard for me to kind of keep my head, you know, a little smaller than it maybe should have been. So that was not hard for me to stay at a lower level than I guess I could have. You know, there was sometimes I got a little not humbled. You know, I thought I was better than I was, but I always got people to bring me back down. They were telling me when I was being that way. So when I try to get cocky, they always knock me back down.
So I have to ask, like, I know you talk about just even going the adjustment into Chicago. So let's talk more about the current Bears team. I mean, they've been a playoff contending team. What do you think they need? What do you think will take them to that next level to be kind of where you were as a Super Bowl caliber Bears team?
I wish I had the answer to that question. You know, it's tough, man, because this year was different, obviously, with all the challenges that every team had to go through. I didn't watch a lot of football this year, a lot of NFL football this year. But I love Mitch, man. I think Mitch Trubisky's the man. You know, if you look at his record, I'm just going, the guy wins games. So that's, as a quarterback, as me as a player, I want a guy who's going to win. It may not be pretty, it may not be the way you want it, it may not have the stats you want, but the guy wins. So that's the number one thing I look at. The thing I like about him as well is when he goes to the podium after a game, when they lose, who does Mitch blame? Mitch.
Yep.
Mitch says, I could have done this, I could have. When they win, Mitch doesn't talk about Mitch. Mitch talks about the running backs, the offensive line, the defense, the coaches. I like that. I respect that out of a quarterback or any position, mind you. But their defense is great. You know, they always play great defense. They're always going to be in the games because their defense plays solid. I think they had some injuries up front on the offensive side of the ball this year, so they can get some guys healthy and maybe get back up there and run the ball more. But they're in the playoffs. You know, they've been in the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. Don't care how you get in. You just got to get in. And they got in. So I pull for him, always pulling for him, and I'm a big fan, like I said, of Mitch. I like what he does.
I mean, do you really think Mitch is the guy there? Because obviously there's a lot of rumors heating up now with the quarterback carousel, and there's a guy named Deshaun Watson that could be a perfect fit in Chicago. But do you think I like Mitchell too, but the problem is he's too inconsistent for me to believe that he can be a full-time quarterback. So in your opinion, do you think they will go out there just to have talks with the other team for quarterbacks, or do you think Mitchell's the guy though for long term?
Well, Mitch is a free agent. I don't think they picked up his option on his 5th year, and they got, I think Foles has 1 or 2 more years left on his deal, so they're pretty strapped for cash at that position. I don't know. I like I said, you just heard me tell all the reasons why I like Mitch. Yeah. Doesn't mean he's going to be the guy there. Maybe it'll be somewhere else. I just like the extra parts he brings to the game, running the football. You know, he's not a sitting duck back there. He can run the football. This year he was 6-2 as a starter. You know, in the regular season, you know, they had that losing streak of 6 games in the middle there where he wasn't playing. They went 3-0, and he got put on the bench, and then he came back and he saved them there at the end of the season, going 6-2. But I don't know, man. It's hard for me to see, you know, guys muscling their way into trades. You know, a team drafts you just because you don't like the head coach or the GM or guys they draft. Too damn bad. You're not the boss, man. You know, you're drafted there to play a position and do your job. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that you can go out and ask for a trade and try and get out of there. I don't think that's fair to the organization or the fans for that matter, because most of the time the fans blame the organization for that. And it's not the organization's fault that you're asking for a trade. It's your fault. You know, sometimes you have to deal with not liking your head coach or your position coach. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get one of my friends' questions in here. Actually, our friend from Lit Media Production, his name is Tommy. He wants to know, being a former linebacker in the NFL, he wants to know who was your favorite quarterback to sack or tackle, and then what was it like when you made that Super Bowl run?
Favorite player to sack, all of them. You know, I didn't have a preference. If they had the ball, I wanted to tackle them. So I didn't really have a preference. Some guys are more fun than others, obviously. Anytime you get a chance to sack Michael Vick, you know, it's so elusive. I always felt good when I got to Mike. I was like, man, you're fast, bro. You got it. So I felt good about that. Super Bowl run was amazing. You know, that season was pretty special. We won games in a lot of different ways that year. You know, we won on special teams, we won on defense, we won on offense, scoring 40 points when we gave up a bunch of points on defense. So just a fun year that was. And then we didn't top it off winning the game, but still we had a chance to get there and compete with the Colts that game.
So, and then my friend Lonnie, he used to play football at Kane University. I used to go to Kane University here in Jersey, and my friend used to play football. He was a defensive tackle, and he wants to know what was your like routine, pregame routine for before a game? Like, what did you do just to get ready for the game?
Oh man, y'all are gonna laugh at me. So, man, I used to eat 2 cookies before every game. 2 chocolate chip cookies before every game. Our trainer would put them in my locker. Tim Bream, his wife would make them, put them in my locker before every game. I would eat those. I would get stretched. I would listen to my corny music, my country or my old school rap or rock, whatever it was. And now it's really old school compared to when I played. Back when I played, it was sort of cool, but now it's definitely not. And then go on the field and do my, pregame warm-ups or blah, kind of boring. And then, when the game finally starts. So I kind of felt like playing on Sundays was a reward for the work you put in during the week. So that was my fun day to kind of go out there and let loose, not act like an idiot, but still go out there and have fun with my teammates and be rewarded for what you did during the week.
I have kind of more of a rapid fire style question, but I know it's hard to choose. Do you have a favorite between a big hit and an interception?
Interception all day. It's a bigger play in the game. Give me the sacks, the fumbles, the picks, the touchdowns. I'll take all that over a big hit or a tackle for a loss. I want the big plays.
So I know you talk about being a foodie. I have a couple foodie related questions.
Yeah.
Just especially in terms of endorsements. Like when you mentioned Michael Vick, it's like I think about like what was it, the Nike commercial where you and him were on the same hockey team, right? On the Avalanche, I think it was.
That was fun to the way, yeah.
So I always think about that. But in terms of endorsements, and like I'm going to reference Marshawn Lynch with his Skittles endorsements. I mean, do you feel like you missed out not getting a cookie brand to work with you, knowing that as like your ritual? And if so, what cookie would you go for?
That was a good one. I really like Girl Scout cookies, by the way. The Samoas.
Okay. Oh, the
really
best.
Good. And so I'll put the Thin Mints in my freezer and eat the whole little 1-tube bag at one time. It's not good. I got to ride my bike a whole lot the next day to make up for that. You know what I like, and I've got the last couple of months, is just the cookie dough. Like I'll buy the cookie dough at the store and just eat the dough with a big glass of milk.
I respect that.
It's so good. My mom used to make the cookie dough when I was a kid, and I just dipped my fingers in, the whole time, and she'd get mad at me because I ate all the dough before she got to cook the cookies. But yeah, I kind of go back to my younger days eating that dough. But I didn't miss out on it. I'm okay. I got the stuff that Tim's wife made. Those cookies were, I don't know what she put in there, but they were different than most cookies that I had that I bought from the store. They were better, homemade.
Love that.
So what advice would you give these young athletes that are trying to come up and get to their goals? And obviously your son plays football too. So what advice would you give him, and what advice would you give other athletes?
So my biggest thing is having fun doing what you're doing. If you're playing football for the wrong reasons, or you're playing any sport for that matter, for you're being pushed to do it or someone's making you do it, that's not fun. I want my kids or anyone who plays sports or whatever they do, not sports or anything, enjoy what you're doing. I think that's, I got to go to work for 13 and have fun. I was paid to have fun for 13 years, man. I was very fortunate, but, and also be careful. There's we talked about social media earlier. There's so many things out there. Once you hit that send button, you're done. You can't take it back. It's tough these days with social media, especially as young kids, because other kids are not very nice on social media to kids sometimes. So it's tough to be on that platform if you can't have it. But also can thicken your skin up a little bit too. You can take some criticism on there. It may toughen you up a little bit. But my thing is have fun, man. If you're gonna do something, have fun doing it, and just have a good time while you're out there.
That's it for me.
Good questions.
I say I have 2 more, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, I feel like I could ask you questions all day, but I want to be mindful of your time. First question goes back to the foodie issue. Like, what is your favorite deep dish in Chicago? I know that's controversial, and it might not be like the Lou Malnati's or the Giordano's. It could be like an off the beaten track.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it really controversial for you.
Oh boy!
So I grew up in New Mexico.
Okay.
Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. I know, so bad. But if I got to pick one Chicago, I'm gonna go with Aurelio's Pizza. I'm not sure if you know about Aurelio's. There's a small chain. Oh man! So there was one at training camp when we in Bourbonnais my last few years there. Wow, they have really good pizza. So if I have to go Chicago pizza, I go with Aurelio's. But Lou Malnati's is great. I'm just not a huge deep dish guy. Yeah,
it's different. It's not regular pizza, so I get it. No, I'm not disappointed.
Okay, good.
As a New Yorker, we see pizza very differently than Chicago, but I had to ask.
Yes, for sure.
Sorry.
Another one. Go ahead, Gabby.
I was like, my other question, Super Bowl, I know you talked about Aaron Rodgers. Were you surprised by the games, and who are you liking come February?
Yeah, I was surprised about the Green Bay. I'm surprised they didn't go for it on fourth down. I didn't. I understand kicking the field goal, but I also think you got the MVP as your quarterback. Third down probably could have been a little bit closer to the goal line, possibly a touchdown. I wasn't playing, so I can't say what he was thinking. But fourth down, I feel like you got to go for it because you don't know if you get the ball back or not. Either way, you got to score a touchdown, whether it's on fourth down or you have to get the ball back. So I feel like you have to score. Try then, give the MVP one more shot. And usually, on big plays, the refs call penalties anyway. So it'd probably be a penalty. On third and 400, they throw the flag for illegal contact. So who knows? Yeah, and then the Chiefs are awesome. I'm a huge Bills fan because my linebacker coach from the Bears coaches for them. I'm a huge Bills fan, but the Chiefs are machines, man. They just Mahomes a stud. Andy, Kelsey, Tyreek. Their running backs are good. Their defense is good. It's tough to find a weak spot on that team.
Fun fact real fast that I found the other day.
Oh, she's back.
The last time a team was down 4 and decided to go for a field goal on fourth and 8, I think, was 2015, Chicago Bears. It was, I think, Dan Quinn. And guess who was the quarterback's coach? Matt LaFleur.
Oh, for the Bears?
Isn't that wild? The last time a team did that was 2015. Bears.
That is
I was retired, so I don't know.
Right, you were out.
Oh, but man, I didn't. That's bad. That's not a stat you want to be associated with.
No, especially when you have Aaron Rodgers and you're playing against Tom Brady.
Who can find those holes?
Like, you may not get. Tom's still going to throw the football under 2 minutes. It doesn't matter. That's you trust that guy more than anybody in the world. So I just, they're going to be in man coverage. So that's even more to Tom's advantage. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not a head coach. There's a reason for that. LaFleur's done a really good job with that football team. But if I have the MVP on fourth and goal, I'm going for it in that situation.
Yeah. They made a huge mistake there, but guess where Dan Quinn is now in Dallas as defensive coordinator. So that's
is he?
Yeah,
nice.
That should be interesting to see. I have a couple of rapid fire questions for you, but before we get to that, this is really important. So we partnered up with the Hugh Jackson Foundation, and obviously
he's a stud. Yeah. Hugh Jackson's the man.
He needs to get another job. He needs to get another job in the NFL as a coach.
I agree with you. I like that dude.
Yeah, so we had him on I had him on the show, and we partnered up with the foundation last year, and obviously this month is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So we're trying to help prevent that from happening and making sure these kids and other people make the right choices and make the community safer. So when you guys get a chance, please check out the Hugh Jackson Foundation. They're doing a great job, and we're grateful to be part of it, and it's just amazing what they're doing.
Great.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackson's the man. My wife and I actually went on a march for human trafficking back in I don't know when it was, September or something like that, because it just people don't know about it. People don't understand what's going on, and there's a lot of shady stuff going on people don't know about.
Yeah,
it's scary. If you have kids, it's really scary because you don't want them to be away from you. You gotta watch them all the time, and the kids don't want that. They don't want you watching them all the time.
Yeah. So you ready for this quick little rapid fire?
Let's do it. All right, I'm ready.
And before I'm sorry that I have to bow out though.
Bye.
All right.
Ryan, thank you so much. This was so much fun. Appreciate it. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Yeah. All right. So Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
I heard what you said. Kawhi Hart.
Kawhi Hart. There we go. I like it.
Kawhi Leonard. Sorry.
Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Oh, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. Favorite food? I mean, outside of donuts and other
seafood.
Okay. What was all right? When you were playing football, what else did you like to do outside of playing football?
Rest.
How's your golf game now?
A 3 handicap, getting better. It's a roller coaster, bro. Depends on what day, and I don't know. I'm a roller coaster, but I love it. It's a great game.
Thoughts on the Cowboys linebacker crew?
Solid, really good. Excited about that. Leighton, Jalen, Sean. I don't know if Sean's gonna be back, but I'm a big fan of what they're doing over there.
So you just made his whole day with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I yell at the TV screen if they lose.
Dude, we got to get Dak back.
Yeah,
by the way, I know they keep saying they're going to, but man, that price tag went up. By the way, when Deshaun got that 40, that made Dak's about 47.
It's
crazy.
Dak's the man. He's my favorite quarterback in the NFL. He's a stud. I love him.
Would you consider being a linebackers coach?
No.
No.
No. No. I
All
was a pain in the ass when I was a player to my coach, so I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be that guy now.
Who's the funniest teammate that you played with?
Oh, jeez. Anthony Adams.
Oh wow. So Spice Adams. Or,
Double A. Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
AKA, yeah, I guess that's his social media name now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last few things here before we let you go, and this is a question I've been bringing up to all my guests. Obviously, today's a tough day for everyone with the 1 year anniversary of Kobe and Gianna, and
Yeah.
obviously you're a girl dad, and I'm wearing the girl dad shirt right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So what do they mean to you, and do you have any like Kobe memories, Gianna memories too?
Yeah, so Kobe to me, it was Michael and then Kobe for me. Kobe and I were around the same age. I think he may be a little bit older than me, but man, he was just the mentality he had, his work ethic. You know, you hear stories about him going to the gym at 3:34 in the morning and shooting, and during season lifting weights before games. Just the things he did to make himself better. And he didn't start out great. You know, he was a skinny little rookie. You know, drafted there, but he just built himself to this amazing player. He stayed at the Lakers his whole career, which is awesome. You know, he won 5 rings there. And then for me, what's cool is after basketball, he kind of found his niche as with his daughters, with being his daughter's basketball coach and kind of watching her sprout into this great basketball player as well. It's amazing to see that. And then you know what happened last year. It's funny, I can remember exactly where I was when I got the phone call, when I got the text that it happened. I was like, who's screwing around? Quit messing with me. It was a very sad day because Kobe was the man. He was a monster, one of the best to ever do it, and a great person on top of all that. He went through a lot of things in his career as well, personally, professionally, and he always came out on top.
Yeah, it was he was one of my role models growing up too, and it's so tough, and especially his daughter. He could have been she could have been in UConn, and the next WNBA star too. So it's just
a great, but she was a sweetheart. On top of all the sports things, good person, man. Both of them were great people, and the things he was doing. For everyone else, it was amazing. People, you don't hear a lot about that, but Kobe was a very giving person as well.
Yeah, and the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers?
Man, they're my heroes. I'll tell you that much. They've got it done during this pandemic and everything that's been going on. They still go to work. They take care of people and put themselves in harm's way every single day. So we definitely appreciate them. I had the virus at the beginning of December. In the middle of December, I got it.
Wow.
I had a headache. I was fortunate. My daughter got it in June and she had a fever for 2 days. So we're fortunate. We were on the mild end of it. I lost my taste too, which really sucked. But we're very fortunate that we didn't have to go to the hospital. But I've had some friends who had to go to the hospital and they were more crazy than mine was. So the frontline workers, everyone, they're amazing. Thank you for what you've been doing during this whole crazy times that we're facing right now.
Mm-hmm. And there it is. That wraps up episode 677. With Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher, Bears legend, and this is truly an honor. Thank you for joining the show today. I'll be posting this on all social media formats, and keep up the great work.
Thanks for having me. Good talking to y'all.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much.
We'd like to have you back soon. Yeah.
Yeah, you got my number or my email, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah. All right.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks.